got 25 minutes. We got to go.
Heyo.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everyone. Say That Nation, we're excited to be with you this Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday, you guys. Hump day.
That's my Wednesday dance.
All right, so guys, let us hear it. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Drop it in the chat. Let us know if this is the first time that you're watching us. Drop a one in the chat, guys. Let us know how you're doing today. Happy Wednesday.
Awesome. And if this is not your first time, if you are officially a part of Say That Nation, go ahead and put a 2 in the chat. We want to shout out all of our Say That Nation fam. So thank you for being with us. And for those, if this is your first time with us, we want to just talk to you a little bit about what we're about here at Say That channel. We are unapologetic about talking about the ugly come up of business, right? So we all know people who've got nothing and then have massive success. And then we are super unapologetic talking about the middle part, the ugly come up.
Say that.
But what we found is that during the ugly come up, there are a lot of mindset things. There's a lot of like information and ways of being in terms of how you are as a business person, as an entrepreneur, as you go out and set out on your entrepreneurial journey. And so I feel like this season, we've really tapped into that, like really getting into the mindset a little bit more. So we've been visiting with some other content creators who are experts in this space. And so we have a topic question that you guys send us, which is awesome. We've got 25 minutes to answer the question. But we also get to hear from other content creators about what their thoughts are on the topic as well. So we're really excited about what we're doing. If you really love this new additional format that we've been using in this season, please let us know in the comments. Like, we need to know, is this what you love? Is this what you really are excited about? We'll keep providing you with more of that information. So please let us know in the comments.
Yeah. And today's question is actually a really cool one as well. And like Janelle said, we've been actually talking and just kind of involving ourselves in different conversations that are being had in the overall space of entrepreneurship or how we shape our lives. And so if we jump in today's question, guys, is:
could your relationship be affecting the bag? I mean,
and can we define the bag for those? Because I'm not going to front and act like I knew what this was. I'm new to the definition of what the bag is.
So the bag is not the Fenty bag that some of you may be thinking of, or a bag of groceries. The bag is your financial prospects. It is the money bag, the money in the bag, more precisely.
Or essentially how much you're earning, how well you're doing, your lifestyle. That's essentially how I kind of look at it. Who you choose, especially with the question, who you choose as your partner essentially ties you to a certain lifestyle. I think in terms of like, your relationship, if your partner has a goal or an aspiration towards a certain type of lifestyle and you don't share that, there can obviously be, it may be difficult to obviously attain whatever you're looking to if you guys aren't in sync or in some sense about what your lifestyle goals should look like.
I think you nailed it on the head in terms of answering the question.
Yeah. So I 100% think your relationship could affect the bag. Yeah.
I agree with you on that. I love the way that you said it. Like if your partner doesn't have the same goals as you in terms of like lifestyle and just like, I guess, financial security, because I know that's a thing. Like, is your partner more into saving? Are they more into spending, investing? Like, all of those things are important. I mean, not only is like finances, I think, the number 2 reason why people get divorces.
Yeah.
But like, man, like it's not just that, right? Like, it's not just that it ends the relationship, but I think it does impact like your lifestyle. Like, it really could help to take it to the next level, wherever the next level is for you, or it could be like holding you back in a way, and that's what I thought about. That's what I thought about when I heard about this topic. I was like, oh man, this is true. The relationship could be affecting you by either propelling you forward. And I like what you said, towards your financial goals, or it could be your relationship could be holding you back.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing is I'm going to speak for myself. I think in my younger years, I wasn't very clear on what I wanted that to be, like what my financial goals are, or where I want to see myself, or what my the lifestyle that I want to have. And I've become more clear now. And so I think I approach the dating scene differently because of that.
Yeah.
Whereas when I was younger, we were just kind of like out here like, oh, you think I'm cute? You think like he thinks I'm cute?
Yeah. You didn't. There are certain things you weren't even considering as a part of that decision. Yeah. I've dated people, and I remember and I'm talking about from just like a practical standpoint. I've co-signed. I've been in just like a relationship, a girlfriend, and I've co-signed to someone's loan, not recognizing the long-term ramifications of what that decision to put your name on a documentation as being responsible for a debt for someone else that you're in a relationship with, that doesn't end up, let's say the goal is marriage or a long-term partnership, and still being tied to that debt. And so I 100% think, just so again, from a really practical standpoint, in relationships, we obviously make financial decisions all the time. And those decisions, now, if I'm using myself as the example, that debt that I was responsible for took away money that I could have invested in other things in my life, because I was, responsible, and I had to pay that back. So again, that there affected my bag because it removed, money that I had to do something else. So I definitely, like I said, I cannot wait to get into the
let's get into this.
I can't wait to get into it, just because, again, I recognize that this is definitely something that we should be considering, not just your goals, your dreams, but who are you partnering with as you go out and build this stuff. So let's hear what the guys from Earn Your Leisure have to say on it.
The whole regional bank sector, bus drivers. Shout out to Ebony K. Williams. These are just jokes written by 85 South, Carlos Bean, Carlos and DC Young Fly. Listen, the sector of regional banks are broke.
I'm not touching it.
If Ebony K. Williams was an investor, she's not talking to you. Ayala won't fix this at all.
It's like, would you date a regional bank manager?
No, bank manager maybe, but the regional banking sector, don't touch.
You gotta own the bank.
Yes. Do you find anything wrong with what Ebony said?
Ebony,
come on the show. We
can talk about it. Let's talk
That's
about
crazy. And for any man that's upset, it's like, bro, you can have any job if you deliver in a couple areas and get what you need to get done. You know what I'm saying? This is not investing advice. Stop worrying about the titles. Just be exceptional in who you are, man.
But let's talk about that if we can quickly. So this is an interesting conversation. There was a song. Remember that song? It was like 8-figure. That's what I like.
Yeah.
Oh, sweetie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had said something to 19 Keys about that. And shout out to her, sweetie. But here's the problem, right? It's social media has created a vocal minority.
Facts.
And has disenfranchised the vast majority of people, especially Black people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's creating mental illnesses, actually.
Absolutely.
So what's happening is this, right? Whether you're saying, let's take this, I want somebody that makes 8 figures. The average Black person makes $35,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So 1% of America, a tenth of 1% of America, a tenth of 1% of America is in the 8-figure range. 1% of that are Black.
Yeah.
So, like, statistically, right? When you do like science problems and different things of that nature, if it's so low that this doesn't count, then they just really discard it. Like it's impossible of even happening.
Yeah.
So you talking about something that on a statistical scientific chart is not even going to show up.
Yeah.
Because the odds of it happening are so it's just not even worth even saying how low of a chance that is, right? That's on a larger scale. Now on this bus driver situation, as opposed to a bus owner, we know that the vast majority of people are not entrepreneurs, especially Black people. Somebody that drives a bus actually is probably making more than $35,000 a year.
Absolutely.
So what's ended up happening is that people like this are making statements that are biased to how they live because they're privileged and we're privileged.
Yeah.
Even like as far as geographically where we live, right? You live in New York, you live in Atlanta, you live in Miami, you live in LA. You develop certain
Biases.
normacies that are not normal to the vast majority of people in Middle America, in the South, in the Northwest. So you start to think that everybody is living the same way as you. You start to think that everybody has the same income as your circle. But then you realize that you yourself are in the top 1%. So you're speaking from a vantage point where it's not necessarily wrong what you're saying, but it's irresponsible to say it to a vast majority of people that are not in your same economic situation.
Yep.
What happens is that now you're starting to pollute the minds of
The masses.
Without giving them solutions to increase their revenue, without giving them solutions to become a business owner. So we give you solutions to become a business owner, to increase your revenue, different things of that nature, right? That's different from saying, well, your value is different if you don't make $100,000. Well, how do I make $100,000? That's the next question.
Yeah.
Right. So I just feel like it's a dangerous rhetoric that has been put out there for women, but especially Black women, because it's creating unrealistic expectations that you're not going to be able to find.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just going to be honest with you. You're not going to be able to find.
And these debates, once again, only happen in our community. Like the whole $500 date, this kind of man, I need this kind of woman. I don't see that in other cultures at scale. I don't see 9,000 red pill pages in the Latino community. I don't see it.
Yeah.
Like I was behind a whole bunch of people yesterday at the race. I didn't hear anybody arguing over that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You're not going to.
And it does. So even like when I said the $500 date thing, I never said that if you don't spend $500 on a date, you're not worthy of going on a date.
Yeah.
I just said that's what I'm currently doing.
Correct.
I didn't say like that's an expectation for you to do. So I think wording is extremely important. For her to say, she could have been like, just me personally.
Yeah.
And I think she did say that.
Yeah.
But it was also implied on a wider scale.
Yeah.
And I think that that's something that is a little dangerous. And even if you say me personally, I think it's still important for you to emphasize, I wouldn't do this, but that's okay if you do it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you could say like, well, I'm not doing this. And even if you don't say that, it's implied that, well, they have no value. Right. So I think that, there's a point to be made as far as entrepreneurship is something that we need more entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
We need more ownership. We do need to make more money. So she's not wrong in saying that.
Yeah.
All right, talk to me.
Okay. So I figured this would be like a good place to stop. I just think the statistics that they threw out were really important that we pause on. Also, I want to recognize that we have viewers who come from all different backgrounds, all different ethnicities, cultures, races, etc. So to also
context
add to the context, or to add to what they were talking about, statistically speaking, in the United States of America, Black people make the least amount of money or hold the least amount of wealth. Probably, and there may be in some places, depending on where it is, Native Americans may be equal or maybe even less than, but mostly Black people end up being the lowest on the totem pole in that area. So Earn Your Leisure's audience tends to be mostly people of color. And so they're going to speak to this particular
audience. Yeah.
So I would say if you're looking at those numbers, They are true. However, I still think that they're not like, if you were to look at like a white man, the average white man maybe doesn't make $35,000 a year, but maybe it's like 50. I don't know. We'd have to Google it.
I was gonna say maybe 49, something like that. If we're talking about the average,
The average, right?
Yeah.
And so then same thing. Do white women have this?
Actually, I can.
Then desire. Yeah, you want to Google that real quick? Yeah. Then do white women have the desire, or the social media? And I totally hear them on that. Social media creates this idea that like the average person makes 100K, 200K, $1 million. If that's what the average man makes, then like that's what I want. But then, it looks like actually the average man doesn't make that amount of money. And so,
let me jump in real quick, Jade. So the average earning of a white non-Hispanic male in 2021 was 51,931.
I was right. 50.
Yeah,
okay,
so it's right there. Yeah,
perfect. So still,
but we're not talking significant.
Yes. So I still think social media, no matter, would make it seem that the average guy, no matter the race, is making 200,000, $500,000, $1 million a year. And they said 8 figures, which is like 10 million a year. So I think that's an extreme, but I think there is this idea that on social media, it is not what's actually happening.
It's the 1%. To me, social media highlights the 1%.
Yeah. No, but then it does create, as a woman, I'm like, holy crap, I think I'm falling into this. The other thing is I am kind of surrounded by people. They said that. Who are the people that you're hanging around? And I do recognize I also hang around very motivated,
aspirational,
whose goals aren't to just be an employee forever. So yeah. So so it goes back to what you were saying, like what are their goals? Do they match my goals financially and all that other stuff? So anyways, I just wanted to bring some context to the numbers that they were giving. Thank you for looking that up. I think that's very helpful.
Yeah. And I completely agree, because to me, it does influence what you look for in terms of the partner. And I think it ties right back into what we said about the lifestyle, right? If you see that lifestyle that's being marketed essentially to you on social media and you aspire to have it, but if you aren't an entrepreneurial person, but you're taking that in, then you're sitting as a teacher saying, I want a man who, is ripped up, makes this much. We live in this amazing house and we do all these things on social media that we can market and earn some type of income from. But that's not what you're out there doing. So if you're in a regular relationship, you're probably incredibly unhappy with the partner that you have. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's not the life that you have. So these are the things that are affecting people as a whole, because they're seeing that, and their partner, who again makes 51,000, can't provide that lifestyle for them.
Right.
So what do you think that household is like? The dynamic within that household is like?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a very interesting, because now to your point, now I think if you are an entrepreneur, somebody who recognizes, well, I do want that, I do see that as a goal, something that I can attain, then obviously, regardless of what you're earning, your mindset is, like you said earlier, the audience these guys are talking to are people who this is something that they're having to address within their entrepreneurial journey. Like, well, how much am I really trying to earn? Essentially, what kind of lifestyle am I trying to live? Because to your point, 8 figures is different. It's a different type of lifestyle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a very, very different type of lifestyle. So I love the numbers as well. All right, let's finish this one off then.
But it's also important for us to understand what our current state is and what our current expectations are based off of the pool that's available.
And if you want to go to the best place to find a great pool of like-minded men and women that you may want to build a relationship with, get your tickets to Invest Fest.
There you go.
Robert Smith will be there. Diddy, Jermaine Dupree, Ian Dunlap, 19 Keys, Earn Your Leisure.
That's some non-figures.
Hey, some non-figures, So I mean,
Billy.
If you want to find someone to build with, you have to find them in like-minded places.
Yeah, and I think a part of the conversation, you kind of both said it. When the question was posed back to Ayana, she gave her the reasons why she would do it. Yeah. And then she kind of looked at it from that perspective and said, oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see that.
Yeah.
But it's important. The conversation is important, right?
Yeah.
Because, and I think we had this conversation. Is there anything wrong? That's her opinion. She's entitled to that.
It was the delivery.
The delivery of it was awful. But to see another perspective of it, it helps you grow now. It's like, all right, well, I didn't see it like that. But now I get it, right? There's people listening. I know her and Envy got into it when she went up there, but it was like, this is a perspective she's talking. This is what she's living. This is currently how she's living. This is currently how she's seeing the world. With more experience, with more voices, with more perspectives, that can change. That's happened to me plenty of times.
I'll save the rest of my commentary. But
Shout out to Diddy.
Shout out to Diddy.
You have more leeway. I'll tell you this much. You have more leeway when you have a bag. I'll leave it at that. People are willing to put up with more.
And I'll say this to the fellas too. Listen, if you doing what you're supposed to do, even if you don't have no job, put yes in chat if you know what I'm talking about. Boy. Protect Euro pound, protect and provide. That's all you need. British pound,
Euro pound.
Market Mondays live in London. If you know how to Euro pound and you can protect and provide, you'll be fine.
Pay me in pounds.
Hey,
Pounds.
Pound for pound heavyweight champion.
But if resources will allow you to have more leeway in this world.
Yes.
And we'll be talking to Diddy, so we'll have a conversation.
That is a fact of life.
I'm excited to actually have. I don't think people actually knew that we're going to be interviewing him. That's an Earn Your Leisure presentation.
Yes. You start working on your questions already?
I do have some questions in mind.
I'm sure there are going to be questions that people want to hear that will be asked.
Oh, we're asking the tough questions too.
Oh, really?
Well, he wants that.
No,
Yeah, he wants that.
I got two I want to submit.
He wants that.
Yeah, that's good though.
It's no layup. It's no layup.
Okay.
No. This is going to be one of the ones, man.
That's fire.
But yeah, we definitely gotta have her on if she's interested in coming in and having these relationship talks, because we don't just have these relationship talks for no reason. It's a very important of the economic and structure of you personally. It's probably honestly the biggest factor of your economic success is going to be relationships.
Who you choose,
who you select,
who you choose. Children, how young you have children, if you wait to have children, if you get it divorced, if you have a child out of wedlock. All of these things will factor into the play of your finances.
When SH, Steve Harvey, for those not to know, SH was on Club Shay Shay. That's exactly what he said. The biggest financial decision you're going to make is who you choose to be.
Absolutely. Mitigate risk at all costs.
And you can survive it. If you can have a kid at 16 and become a millionaire. You could go through 3 divorces. It just makes it increasingly harder.
That's what it led to that. It led to the conversation of his divorce. Obviously, we covered the tax situation and how that played out. He lost it all. He found his current wife, Marjorie, and it's led to his great success that he's ever had. Yeah. He attributes that to her being in his life. It's no coincidence. So it's a big decision.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bad.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
So they ended it where we started off, which is
perfect. Comes full circle, man. Guys, let us know in the chat what your thoughts were on that. All right, Jay, what are you?
Oh, okay. So in terms of like the final thoughts, of course, like Diddy is like the mic drop, right? They're gonna interview Diddy, but with resources, you can do more. And so, I think, I also like go to where the people are who think like you or who think the way you want to think. I thought that was really interesting. So they named their thing, of course, but there are several others in many different cities, wherever you guys are tuning in from. That are happening. We're actually going to have one that talks about like how to network.
I was just about to say, it's so funny because so just to kind of piggyback off what Janelle's talking about, we're going to discuss that whole idea about the events and the value that events could have, and are you really tapping into the value of events. But Janelle, it's funny when he talked about the more resources, and I don't know if you probably did hear it when he mentioned that in a relationship, the person with more resources obviously gives them the opportunity to make different decisions.
No, I didn't hear that.
Okay.
What do you mean by that? The person who makes
So
more.
I took it to in the sense of in a relationship, and they're talking about again who you decide to partner up with. So whoever brings in the most money, and depends on the dynamics within a relationship. But I think in most instances, that person has the leeway to make decisions about things in the relationship. So if let's say someone's bringing in 75% of the income, in most instances where that person's job is where you're gonna live, because that's where you're gonna have to be, because that income is the necessity in the relationship. You know what I mean? So if your job isn't something that's bringing in as much, you may have to be the one now in that relationship to have to go find something else to do while that person who's bringing in the majority of the income dictates things. Hey, can we go out and get this? Well, my income allows me to say whether or not we can or not. Again, a lot of this depends on how the dynamics within a relationship is set up. But think about that. And I think we talked about this in a couple episodes before. These things aren't taught in school. So how do you know in a relationship how that even works?
So I love that you brought this up. Gabrielle Union. Shout out to Gabrielle Union.
We should get her on the show.
I know. I would love to interview her.
Let's put that out there. Somebody in the if you know Gabrielle Union, we would love to get her on the show.
We would love to get her on the show.
Yeah,
she has 2 books. We're Gonna Need More Wine. Okay. And which is her first book. It kind of talks about her own life, growing up and stuff like that. And she followed it up recently with Do You Have Anything Stronger? And I just love the titles of her books. Actually, her first book inspired me to be bold with my own title for my own book. So huge. I have a lot of respect for Gabby.
Go check out the description, guys. You can go get that book yourself. Go ahead, Jay.
Yes, please. Yes. Right. So she talks about big money versus small money. And when she was married first, she had the big money and he had the small money. And then when she got married to Dwayne Wade, he had the big money and she had the small money. And there was, and the prenup and what that was like. And so she ended up signing the prenup. And she was like, you could just see everyone's anxiety levels, everything just kind of went away. Cause it was the prenup is signed. Everybody's good. We can now move forward with our love. That other stuff is out the way. And it was funny because I remember reading and I was like, oh, that's so interesting. Big money, small money. Now, how they work around things in their relationship, I think is
that's what I was gonna ask. Is that in there? Does it talk about
who makes the decisions about?
Yeah, we're going to dinner. Who pays? You know what I mean? It's because I don't know what big money, small money means. It's relative. So it's I can take you to Paris tonight and we go eat dinner at this place.
Okay, so you have to recognize these are entertainers, right? These are celebrities, so their big money versus small money is going to be really big. But yes, Dwayne Wade is making 8 to 9 figures. Gabby was making 7, maybe 8. So we're talking big of a difference, times 10 difference, right? And so I don't know who chooses who is buying dinner. I'm sure he pays. But but I understand it to mean that there's an account that's joint and they can pay the bills with this one, but then each of them does their own thing.
With their money.
Yeah. But and then the 2 of them do have entrepreneurial spirits as well, because both of them have
they do commercials together. That's that's the other side of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Even that to me is a couple that recognize there is a brand that they can build as they each have their own, because obviously they each do their own thing. But as a union, they get more money because I'm sure that they're getting paid individually as they do that, and that money only adds to their overall wealth and value. You know what I mean? Well, 100%. Not value. That may be a poor choice of words, but wealth.
100%. No,
and then
that's exactly
your earlier point. What can we do now that we're combining what we're doing and building our wealth? It allows for us to do, so much more. And they talk about that in there, because in that there's 2 divorces. They've each been divorced, and they have children.
Yeah.
Well, I know Dwayne Wayne had children before. Right. Gabrielle Union. They now have kids together. So again, it's that relationship right there is a great example, actually.
Yeah. Shout out to Gabby Union. I would love to interview you.
That was really cool. So if anybody does know her, let's make that happen.
For real. For those of you who are wondering, like, what's Janelle's title that was inspired by Gabby? My title is I slept with a married man. Am I still a good person? So both titles are titles that make you, they're intentional. They're intentionally provocative, right?
Yeah, make you want to turn the page, folks.
Yeah. All right. Well, then, this has been a great Wednesday. I'm looking forward to seeing you all next week and also on Monday for our Monday rundown. But until then,
as always, remember, you deserve the good life.
say that.
Say that. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.